Hello and welcome back to another episode of SmartTips. My name is Gavin Brennen. I am a product specialist here at SmartSuite. And today we're going to talk about historical reporting, or more specifically, how you can track and report status changes over time. For this example, imagine that you manage a trucking business. These are your 9 different trucks. Each of them have a make and model, a driver that might be subject to change, and a status that's definitely subject to change. In fact, it's probably going to be changing a lot. Today, Iron Stallion, the truck, is in transit, but tomorrow it might be available. Now, if you want to be able to have these as individual records and change the statuses frequently so that, it always shows the most recent, that's great, but you can't show any history of what changes are made over time. And that's what we're doing today. So we're going to be able to create automatically a historical log where it essentially takes a screenshot of the statuses, driver, and whatever else that day and shows it for every single day and automatically creates these records so that you can have a summary where you can go into any single one of these, say, hey, December 11th, who was at the depot? Oh, it was Mighty Oak and Black Bear. Or who was in transit? It was these 5 trucks. And we can do this with only 2 automations. So the setup is really simple. What you're going to want is this table that shows all the records that you want to track over time, and you want to add 2 extra fields to it. One of those is a yes, no field. We're going to be using this for the automation. Just keep it empty for now. And then the other is a formula. This is going to house today's date, and this will come in handy later. So you can literally just type in today, click this on the side, and there you go. It'll be updated with today's day. And then we're going to have a genuinely identical table for the historical log. So I would actually recommend taking your original table that you want to track over time and duplicating it. You click duplicate, don't include the records. You don't need to. And you will have this empty table that's essentially the exact same with the same status, same, assigned to, single select, all of that. The only difference is you don't need this yes, no field nor this function, but you do want a link to the next table, which is going to be a summary table. Now, this summary table is going to have individual records that are going to represent a date. So you're not going to be manually creating any of this. This is all going to be by the automation, so don't worry about it. But like if this was December the 9th, right, you're going to have this record titled December the 9th. This is going to be linked to all of the logs from that day. And then it's going to count, hey, how many of these linked records were at depot, how many were under maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. So now let's get to the fun part, which are the automations themselves. So we only have 2 automations and they're pretty simple. We have one that's going to trigger at the end of every single day. So at a scheduled time, every single day at 12:15 a.m., we're going to create a record within that summaries table where the date is equal to today. And if you guys noticed, this date is directly what designs the title because it's auto-generated. So this is essentially saying that the title of the new summary record is going to be today's date. Then it's going to find all of our records and trucks and then update those records so that the yes, no is equal to yes. And that's going to trigger the second automation, which takes every single truck record where the yes, no is yes, and then creates an identical record inside of that historical log. So this is essentially just copy pasting your records from trucks today to a historical log so it can be preserved. So each field, you have your status, you fill it in with the previous status. You have your make and model, you fill it in with the previous make and model. The only thing that's different is that your link to the summary table is going to be the formula that we made to calculate today's date because the title of the summary is going to be the date and this will just fill it in right away. So you only link to the unique one. Then we're going to go back to the trucks, update all the yes, no's back to no. And that's essentially it. Now, that might seem complex, but all that this is doing is that every single day, it's creating a new summary record. So let's just do it manually. This is what the automation will do. It'll create a new record where the date is today, so December the 12th. And then it's going to take all your trucks and mark them all as yes. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a bunch of new records in this identical table that match the status, match the driver, and match the make and model. So as you can see, they're all starting to fill in, copying the exact same way as they were before with the same fields and all of that. And then they're automatically linking to the summary record that we created. And that's essentially it. There's a lot of different ways you can do historical reporting. So if you have an easier way, make sure to leave a comment down below. And until next week, enjoy SmartSuite.